Unfortunately for hundreds of thousands of people in the United States, it's not just the S&P 500 that's surging and the NASDAQ that's surging, again today making new all-time highs. Gold surging, added $73 an ounce at close, and I'm seeing it's up about $11 already in the metals markets. Real briefly, NASDAQ and S&P both closed up. AMD chip maker, I guess the big news, they're having some deal with OpenAI, and that stock surged 24%. But what else is surging in this country is Chapter 7 individual bankruptcy filings, Chapter 13 bankruptcy filings, Chapter 11 business bankruptcy filings, and foreclosures in the United States. So let me jump into two articles. I want to share with you the first one from Zero Hedge on the bankruptcy picture right now in this country. Probably no surprise to those that watch this channel of these statistics, but it's important that we all understand what's going on beneath the surface, no matter what rosy picture the cheerleaders in the markets are trying to paint. Before I jump in, as I always humbly ask, please, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I would greatly appreciate you guys hit that subscribe button. It's a free and easy way to support the community, and we are growing. So here's the bankruptcy situation. A total of 249,152 individual Chapter 7 bankruptcy filings were made in the first 9 months of this year. That's a 15% jump compared to the same period last year, according to the American Bankruptcy Institute in an October 3rd statement. The Chapter 7 bankruptcies, otherwise known as no asset or liquidation bankruptcies, are different from Chapter 13 bankruptcies. In a 13 bankruptcy, the individual retains their assets for the most part, but they have to agree on a payment plan, a repayment plan with their creditors, okay? They can spread out payments over a period of years. No asset or Chapter 7 bankruptcies, for the most part, individuals have to give up their assets to the bankruptcy trustee for liquidation. Again, not legal advice, financial advice. That's just a snapshot of what's being shared in this article. But it is accurate from my understanding. There were 149,337 individual Chapter 13 bankruptcy filings made during the first 9 months of this year. That's up 4% from the same period of last year. Total bankruptcy filings rose 11% during this period. The sharp rise in bankruptcies highlights mounting financial pressure on households, according to Michael Hunter, Vice President of Bankruptcy Data Provider, Epic, and then AACER, said in the ABI statement. The growth in active Chapter 13 case inventory, he says, suggests that more consumers are now turning to bankruptcy as a necessary financial reset. We expect this upward trend to continue with a strong likelihood of accelerating into 2026. There are also a growing number of concerns about rising credit stress among Americans. We've covered that on numerous shows previously. In a September 24th statement, financial services company Vantage Score stated that credit delinquencies rose across nearly all credit tiers and delinquency categories in August year over year. Meanwhile, commercial bankruptcy filings, it says, also rose in the first 9 months of this year. Overall, commercial filings were up 4% year over year, with small business filings up 6%. With household debts climbing, lending terms tightening, and geopolitical uncertainty creating challenges within supply chains, it says bankruptcies continue their ascent toward pre-pandemic levels, according to ABI Executive Director in a statement in this article. So when we talk about a financial reset, for many, it's a bad thing, right? They're having to run to the court process, in this case, bankruptcy process, to help them manage their debt loads. In some respects, try to discharge it and not have to pay any of it back. And with regard to the Chapter 13 filings, somehow get on some kind of an extended payment plan. Okay, so the debt is continuing to present problems in this country, and obviously with the slowdown in hiring, that's kind of compounding the problem. Let me show the second story of CBS News Today about foreclosures. And the article is entitled, "From Money Watch, Foreclosures Are Surging as U.S. Homeowners Grapple with Rising Costs." As of August of this year, foreclosure filings had risen 6 straight months year over year and were up 18% from the same period last year, according to property data firm Atom. Through June, it says roughly 188,000 properties had foreclosure filings, putting the United States on track to surpass the roughly 322,000 U.S. properties that went into foreclosure in 2024. And it says roughly 94% of mortgage defaults occur after a homeowner loses income due to extenuating circumstances, according to the Urban Institute, citing data from the National Bureau of Economic Research. So we talk about circumstances, the loss of a job, okay, a huge, medical emergency where a breadwinner is prevented from going to work and, getting their regular pay that they're accustomed to. So the key factor behind the rise in foreclosure rates is the growing cost of home insurance, utilities, property taxes, repairs, and other homeowner expenses. Gives an example. Single-family homeowner with a mortgage today pay an average of $2,370 a year for property coverage. That's up nearly 70%, it says, from 5 years ago, according to data from ICE Mortgage Technology. Households are contending with exorbitant property taxes as well as higher insurance costs and elevated interest rates. All of these rising costs associated with holding a home, you have increasing pressure on existing homeowners to continue to be able to afford and pay for their mortgage, according to Jeff Smith, director of the Institute for Housing Studies at DePaul University. This guy, Todd Tata from Atom, also cited a recent slowdown in hiring as a factor behind rising mortgage delinquencies, noting that job loss often drives foreclosures. Okay, I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. High interest rate environment can be particularly challenging for homeowners with variable rate loans, which reset at certain intervals as part of or based upon the market conditions. Okay, so a lot of these homeowners that enter into these mortgages, variable rate mortgages, are having these resets come due, now and in the near future when rates are still staying, high, okay, by historical standards over the past many, many years. And when these resets hit, and this guy says the trend, he expects the loans hitting their reset points is going to continue to increase. And what happens is borrowers, when these loans reset, when the rates are still high, they see huge bumps in their monthly payments and they just can't afford to pay it, okay? And that becomes an automatic, let's say loss situation for them where they don't have enough coming in to make the expenses every month, and they get that foreclosure notice and it all goes downhill from there. So, again, we've discussed it before. The pace at which the Fed is likely to cut rates is not going to have a massive impact, especially on these folks that get resets, okay, where they were locked in, let's say 4%, 5%, and they get reset to a much higher number. So bankruptcies, foreclosures across the board are creeping up in pretty substantial numbers. and again, expected to increase both on the foreclosure front and the bankruptcy front into 2026. So, buckle up. If you find yourself in these situations, again, health's the most important thing. Money is money. It does come and go. Take one step at a time. Do your best. If you have to avail yourself of a bankruptcy as a solution, then look into it. Then do it. And again, for those that are not in that boat right now and are watching all their assets go up, we continue to see a divergence between the haves and have-nots, between Wall Street and Main Street. So again, it's not really happy news again today, but I believe that's important that everybody understands what's going on. Okay, no matter where you're at, what income strategy you're in, because even higher income people can find themselves carrying higher debt levels, debt loads. A job gets lost. Someone has an unforeseen health, issue come up, and the whole situation can change. So nobody get complacent. Nobody think that it can't happen to you. All right. I went a little bit long today. Thank you guys. If you enjoyed the content, leave me a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Leave your thoughts and comments. I do enjoy reading them. With that being said, I will talk to all of you soon. Bye.